Okay, 8th graders, we are doing linear equations word problems part 2 today. And these are same type of problems, but they are definitely worded differently or different information is given. So it says, consider the scenario below. There is a fee to rent a moving truck from Lucky Trucks plus $20 an hour. Emily rented a truck for 7 hours and paid $200. What is the fee? Now, I know that most of you could probably work this backwards, and you could definitely find out that starting fee. But we are going to do this algebraically, okay? We're going to find that linear equation, that kind of thing. So remember what the graph would look like. We have a starting fee. We don't know where that is, but we do know the starting point. So if the rate is $20 per hour, that's your constant. That doesn't change. That's your slope. Okay. The fee, our starting point here, that's our y-intercept, and that's what we don't know. Okay, so here's the problem reworded. If a line has a slope of 20 and passes through the point 7 and 200, and now why this is 7 and 200, because 7 is the number of hours, and that's x, y is the total cost, and that is y, then what is the y-intercept? Well, if they told you and phrased it like this, your problem algebraically would probably be a little bit easier. So if we solve this graphically, we could start at our point, and we could go up 20. So this one went by 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and over 1. And these all went by 1. So up 20 over 1, up 20 over 1. And our graph does that perfect line. So I'm going to just trace it backwards here and show you guys where does the y-intercept. It's at 60. Okay, just connect my points real quick. Okay. So now let's solve it algebraically. So we have a slope and we have 2 points. You can use either method. I still really like my y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, my point slope form, because I have a point and I have the slope. So if I have y minus 200 equals 20 times x minus 7. Y minus 200 equals 20x, I just distributed this, minus 140. Add 200 to both sides. Oops. And I get y equals 20x. And then this is like a negative 140 and a positive 200. And so that gives me my 60. And there's my equation. Okay, so now we're going to just do another problem. Jack opened a savings account and put some money in. Do we know how much? No. Okay, then he started saving $150 each month. Well, there's our constant. After 9 months, he had this. So after this is our time, this is our x, we had a total of y, $1,970. So again, we have a point and we have the slope. So we can use that point slope form. So y minus my y1 would be 1970 equals, my slope was 150 times x minus 9, because x stands for the number of months. And then I just distribute this, 150x minus 150 times 9 equals 1350. And then I'm going to add that 1970 to both sides, getting y by itself, so I have it in my slope-intercept form. And I get 620, and it's a positive 620. Obviously, you want to make sure your equation makes sense. So we started with 620, we added $150 every week. if that had turned out negative or something, we'd want to make sure that we didn't make a mistake. So he now has $3,620. How many weeks has it been? Ooh, they tricked us. They said how many weeks? What is our X? It's months. So first, let's find our months, okay? Yeah, because it says each month. So I'm going to put this in. Where would it go for it? Would it go for my X or for my Y? It's going to go for my Y. So this is going to be 3,620. We're going to use this equation, but I'm going to solve for X. I want to know how many months first, and then I'm going to find out how many weeks. Okay. So I'm going to minus the 620, and I get 3,000. And then I divide by that 150, and I get 20 equals X. Now this is 20 months. So it's kind of tricky because how many weeks are most of the time in a month? It's not always perfect. We're just going to pretend that there are 4 weeks in most months. So I'm going to take this times 4 weeks per month, and that would give us 80 weeks. About 80 weeks. Okay. So next one, it says, since Kira bought her car, its value has been dropping. So this one's going down $1,200 per year. After 4 years, it's worth $14,200. How much was the car worth when she bought it? Okay, so we know again the slope. This is our negative amount. And then we know our X is our time, and our Y is how much it's worth. Okay, so sometimes it's really nice to outline those in our problem. So I'm going to start with my Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1 equation. This is my point slope form. So Y minus my Y, which is 14,200, equals my slope, which is a negative 1,200, times X minus 4. So then I'm going to distribute that 1,200, that negative 1,200. So it ends up being plus, and I know 12 times 4 is 48. And then I just add those 3 zeros. So then I'm going to add the 14,200 to the other side. And I get 200, that's 12, 62,200. Okay. Did I do something wrong here? Okay, I think that's right. Did I copy everything? 1,200. Oh, did I put oh shoot, I put too many zeros on here. That's what I did. I knew something looked off. So yeah, if you're doing a problem and something doesn't look right, give yourself a second to do it. You guys probably saw me make the mistake. So let's take this off here. And let's do this again. 14,200 plus 4,800. There we go. 19,000. I'm just going to cross out that whole thing. Y equals negative 1,200 X plus 19,000. You guys know I make mistakes. So my equation, I knew that $62,000 was too much. Okay, so that looks better. How much will the car be worth in 7 years? So remember, X is our years. So I want to know what Y is going to be. And this is going to keep on decreasing by $1,200 for 7 years. And we started at 19,200. And I know that you guys could figure this out. I'm just going to put this all in one big equation, times 7. And then plus 19,200. And I get Y equals 10,800. And then remember, it is dollars. $19,200 minus 8,400. Just checking my math. Yep. Okay. Okay. Sometimes we do know the rate of change, but we are given 2 points. So remember, if we have 2 points at any time, what can we find? We can find the slope. So this one says Bob's bug extermination charges a fee and then a certain amount per visit. John has them come 4 times and it cost him $260. Rachel had them come 7 times and it cost her $380. What is the fee? How can we solve this algebraically? So the first thing we can do is find the slope. Then use it to find the fee. Okay, now I'm going to show you why you can't just 260 divided by 4 would give us 65, and 380 divided by 7 would give you 54. And that's why you can't, that's not constant, and so that's what's telling us that there's some sort of other starting fee. Okay, so I'm going to write out my points first. So I have 4 times and 260. And then my other one is 7 times, and the total is 380. X, Y, X, Y. Okay, so now in my equation, remember the slope is m equals m2, or man, it's been a long day. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So if I put these points in, I get 380 minus 260 over 7 minus 4. So 380 minus 260 gives us 120. 7 minus 4 is 3. And so what this ends up giving us is 40. So this is our slope. Okay, now when we have a point or 2 points and the slope, we can use our point slope equation. So I'm just going to use the first ordered pair, it doesn't matter which one. So I have y minus 260 equals 40 times x minus 4. Y minus 260 equals 40x minus 4 times 4 is 160. And then I'm going to add the 260 to the other side. Y equals 40x, negative 160 and 260 gives us 100. Okay, so there's our equation. So if it's $40 a visit, what's our fee? $100. Okay. Okay. Couple more problems here. I am going to do, well, I'll do them. But maybe you guys, it wouldn't hurt for you guys to pause and then try to do them on your own. and then check with how I finish them, just to test yourself before you get to your homework. So it says Frankie and Maria get paid to get into a carnival. They had to pay a certain amount per game. Frankie played 5 games and spent $15.50 altogether. Maria paid 12 and she spent $26 altogether. How much does it cost to get into the carnival? So this is like the one we just did. Here's one ordered pair. Here's another ordered pair. Okay. So I am that person that likes to go X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So maybe I am going to do this just to make it more visible. And my other ordered pairs, 12 and 26. So I'm going to find my slope. 26 minus 1550. 12 minus 5. 26 minus 1550. 1050. 12 minus 5 is 7. When you divide this, you get 1.5. Okay, so there's your slope. Use your slope and your point. I'm going to use 12 and 26. The reason is because there's not a fraction there. And I already have one decimal. Excuse me. So I'm going to take y minus 26 equals 1.5 times x minus 12. Y minus 26 equals, I'm going to distribute this, 1.5x minus 1.5 times 12. This gives you 18. And then I'm going to add 26 to both sides. Y equals 1.5x, and then it turns out to be a positive 8. So there's your equation. Okay, well, we know the slope, the rate, it costs $1.50 per game. That's our rate, that's constant. But what, actually, I take that back. We had to pay a certain amount per game, paid to get into the carnival. So how much does it cost to get into the carnival? So the rate per game is $1.50, but it costs $8 to get into the carnival. And the reason why we know that that's how it works is because they both pay to get in the carnival, but they played different amounts of games. So the price of the amount they spend varies on how many games they play, but they still pay that $8 to get in. Okay, the next one. Andre had lots of Halloween candy. He ate the same amount of candy each day. After 10 days, he had 115 pieces. After 18 days, he had 43 pieces. So now what's happening here? It's decreasing, right? It's going down every day that he eats candy. So we don't know how much he eats today or each day. We don't know how much he started with. So first we're going to find our slope. So 10 and 115 and 18 and 43. Anytime you have 2 points, you can find the rate of something, which can be very, very helpful. So my first one, I'm going to take, it doesn't matter which one you subtract from the other, 43 minus 115, and then 18 minus 10. And we should get a negative number, so this is okay. 43 minus 115 is negative 72 over 8. So our slope is negative 9. So that means he decreases his candy stash by 9 pieces a day. Okay, that's what that stands for. So now I'm going to take and work my equation. I'm going to use this first ordered pair here. Y minus 115 equals negative 9 times x minus 10. And usually when I pick which point I'm going to use, I just try to pick the one that I know I can, multiply or move around easier. Negative 9x plus 90. Then I add that 115 to both sides. Y equals negative 9x. And then when I add those together, I get 205. Okay, so there's my equation, which is what I want. But it says, how many will he have after 22 days? Well, remember that X stands for the days. Y stands for how much candy he has. So I need to take my equation and I need to put 22 in for my X. Okay, so 9 times 22 gives us a negative 198. So he's only going to have 7 pieces left. Didn't even take him a full month to get rid of all that candy. Okay, last problem. Dan and Laura had to pay to sign up for guitar lessons, and they had to pay a certain amount per lesson. So there's a sign-up fee and a per lesson fee. So the per lesson is the slope, and this is your y-intercept. Just kind of, it's nice to outline those before you start. 4 lessons, 190, 9 lessons, 315. Then it has a second part of the question, but we'll take care of that later. So my 2 ordered pairs, 4 and 190, and 9 and 315. Okay, so 315 minus 190 over 9 minus 4 is 125. 9 minus 4 is 5. And this gives me 25. So the slope is 25. So this is the per lesson. $25 per lesson. Okay, but we need to know how much does it cost to sign up. So I'm going to take one of these ordered pairs. Y minus 190 equals 25 times X minus 4. Y minus 190 equals 25X minus 100. Add that 190 to both sides. You guys are getting really good at manipulating these equations by now. Okay, so this, our y-intercept, is the sign-up fee. Okay, but they don't want to know that. It says if their friend Mitch spent $440, how many lessons did he take? Remember that X is the number of lessons, Y is the total cost. So I'm going to put that 440 in for Y. And then I'm going to solve. I'm going to minus the 90 from both sides. I get 350 equals 25x. Divide by 25, divide by 25, I get 14. So, how many lessons did he take? He took 14 lessons. Okay, so for your homework, you are going to do these problems in here. Obviously, if you get stuck, let me know. And then I am also going to give you one of your classmates' word problems that you guys came up with. So we should have some fun with this. If you didn't make up your own word problem yet, get that to me so I can send it off to somebody else. Hope you guys are doing great.